Alright guys, we are on the way to trade the Ranger back there. As you can see, we got a guy with a RZR 1000 that's willing to trade, and he said he needs something bigger for all his people because he has two two-seaters, but he wants to be able to have one bike to bring whenever he brings everybody he wants to ride with. So we're going to see what he says about the trade. We're about like 10 minutes out, so we ain't too far. So hopefully the deal goes through, because my biggest problem with this thing is I can't fit this in another bike whenever I try to go and ride. I have to bring this, and we have to take a separate vehicle with the other bike because this thing takes up most of my trailer. So I can fit two two-seaters on here, but not one four-seater in the two-seater. So hopefully everything works out. All right, so we're pulling up to the spot now. We're meeting at Cabela's. He says he's right behind me, so he'll be pulling in here shortly. Rain looks like it's starting to clear up. Thank God. It started pouring out of nowhere, but we can go get parked and wait for him. All right, guys. So we just got done trading the guy, and 2014 RZR 1000. I mean, it's in pretty good shape, minus some of the stuff you see. The seats seen better days also, but that ain't really nothing to replace. I was just wanting to get into a 1000 platform, two-seater platform. So that's what we did. It's not bad. I did feel like a weird strain whenever I was pulling on the trailer. I didn't really check much of nothing. I just really wanted one. It's got a 3,500 pound winch. He said he just put on there. I just got grease all over my hand. Yeah. But I mean, it seems tight. Everything seemed to work good. Seems to run good, but we're gonna test it here in a little bit. We're gonna go take it out and see what she's got. All right, so before we go ride this thing, there's a couple things I gotta fix on it. I realized this when I got home on a couple things because I went to took it up the road. But for one, I told you it felt like it was straining. There's something going on with this wheel. It frees one way, reverse, but locks forward. The diff's locking it for some reason, and it's unlocked. And even when it spins backwards, it's like very hard. Like I'm putting a little bit of a force there. So it looks like it's been rubbing the brake caliper. So I'm gonna take the wheels off, take the brake caliper off, and we're gonna see if the caliper is like bent or locked up or anything. And it's kind of the same thing for this one. You can hear it. It's locking up for some reason. So some reason front brakes are locking up. Got to figure that out. Two, these U-joints up here, let's see, are shot. Luckily, I had an extra set from my old RZR, so we got that. And three, we didn't, now this is my fault, but I didn't really care because, like I said, I wanted to get into a 1000 two-seater platform just to build and play with, especially for content. One thing I didn't do was test drive it. I put it in out of gear, and it seemed like it went in gear pretty fine. Trans looks fairly new, and obviously you can't believe the stories anybody tells you on Facebook, but sometimes you gotta take it with a grain of salt. Well, this thing has a loud clather when you first start it. Watch, let me show you. So yeah, it makes some noise whenever you first crank it, which is obviously, if you own the Polaris and you got over like 200 hours, you probably had run into this issue. It's the timing tensioner. It's oil driven. They usually do this. It's common, but you just replace the tensioner until your chain stretches, and you replace your chain too. But QuadLogic makes like a permanent type tensioner where you can tighten, like it's not oil driven. It's spring loaded, and every time the chain gets weaker, it notches up and gets tighter and tighter. So you don't have problem jumping time. If you let this go on for so long, it'll jump time. But luckily, this one's still on time. It runs good. But as it warms up, it I guess loses oil pressure on the tensioner, and it makes a loud clattering, like very loud. So, and it's not anything bottom end wise. I checked. I went from top to bottom and checked. There's a cool way you can check. And when you hear a noise, to be sure where it's coming from, you take something like that's straight, decently straight at least, and you put it wherever you think the noise is coming from, and you put your ear to this. And wherever it gets louder at, that's the area it's coming from. So this one obviously got louder up here and kind of by the tensioner. So my guess is that the tensioner is too wore out. So we do have an extra one running around here somewhere. I just got to figure out where it's at, because I bought a brand new one for another bike we had of a tensioner, and we're going with the Quad Logic one. I might even order a Quad Logic one. I don't know yet, but we'll get that fixed. Get those couple things fixed before we take this thing on a legit test drive. So first we're gonna start by pulling these wheels off and then getting to the brake calipers and seeing what's stopping it from rolling like that. We'll take the calipers off and see if it's the axle and the front diff doing it, or is it the caliper. I mean, obviously, like I said, you can see it's been rubbing over there, and this one's been rubbing like one side. So this caliper's kind of crooked. So we're gonna take the wheels off, get to the calipers, and then take the calipers off and see if it still kind of rolls like that. We got both wheels off, and I wanted to mention that the issues I explained a minute ago with the bike, he never told me any of them issues. He sent me pictures, told me it was pretty much ready to go. It was well taken care of and all that. He never told me one issue, and I'm not fussing about it. Like I said, I just wanted a good platform to start with. Obviously, I'm a mechanic and I can fix these things, but if I wasn't a mechanic and I was trying to trade somebody, and he knew everything about my bike, and I figured the reason he was trading because my bike was obviously worth more, being it was bigger, it was a crew cab, you know, it lifted and everything, so it had not about the same hours on it, but figured it was worth more. I was like, yeah, I guess that's why he's trading me, and he has a good reason to trade me. But if this was anybody else, it'd be pretty shady what he did. He didn't tell me anything, and obviously if it was anybody else, they probably would have looked over it and not traded them because they seen the issues or whatever. But I did ask him about why it felt like it was like straining, and he said, well, I drove it not long ago and it didn't feel like that. Maybe just from sitting up. And I mean, I don't know. You never know with people. I try to be as honest as I can, but so what I found so far, it looks like it is the brakes locking up. So I got to take that off. But while doing that, I noticed that this ball joint right here, can't really see it. You can hear it. That, and let's see. Also, that bushing right there is out. Same thing with this side. Look like both these bushings, come on, man, are out. That's cool. It's not a big deal. A bushing kit, some ball joints maybe, but I can still ride like that. We're just trying to get it to where we can ride it this weekend, and we don't have to worry about breaking anything in the process. That's anything major. We gotta pull these brake calipers off and see why they're like locking up. Immediately when I unbolt the caliper, I notice that this moves freely, but it's still locked to the rotor. So it means the axle and the diff ain't what's locking it up like that. So that's good. I ain't gotta go to the front diff right this second, but definitely something going on with these two front calipers. And I'm gonna tell you, it's not a coincidence that it's the two front ones. I wonder if there's something going on with the master cylinder up here. Maybe not bleeding by or something, or I don't know. We got the calipers stuff back on, and we got them loose now. I didn't see anything wrong with it. The only thing I can think of is probably the caliper itself seized. I don't really know anything else. Maybe it's expanding and not relieving pressure, just holding it. So right now it's loose. I pressed them and closed it so it could be loose. But I'm gonna go in here and try to press these brakes and see if they still lock up. I might have to just drive it. It could have been sitting up a little while and just got dirt and stuff behind it, but they did in fact lock up when I pressed them. They tightened back up. This one's a little loose, but this one it's still pretty tight, so I gotta figure out what's going on. I might go to the parts store tomorrow and buy a new caliper just to see if that one loosens up. That one's not so bad. This one's pretty bad. You can tell it's rubbing too. But I also wanted to mention this one had a bent bracket, so this is probably why this one was, doing what I was doing. This one isn't locked up though, like that one. And it may be this line too. This line looks like it got pinched. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm gonna try to play with it and see what I can find out. But we did get this, I got this drive shaft off so I could start pulling the U-joints and replace them. And I found this. It sounds like it has oil in there. So definitely gonna need a front diff rebuild. It's not a front diff. I do have a turbo front diff, but I gotta figure out how to put it in here. I think I need new certain axles and stuff. So I might put that one in here. I might just leave this one and rebuild it or buy a new one. I have to see, have to figure it out. But once again, this is why you gotta check all this whenever you buy something from somebody off Facebook. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this drive shaft pulled, and we're gonna replace the U-joints in it. And also I have to go to the parts store tomorrow because I can't find my timing tensioner like I thought I had. I gotta go to the parts store and buy one. So after I do the U-joints, gotta get that out the way, and then we're gonna do the timing tensioner tomorrow so we can try and ride it this weekend and see what you got. So we're pulling the U-joints out. This little center console's gotta come out, and you gotta get the two 15mm bolts right there from the center bearing right here pulled out, and then there's a pin up front you gotta pull out too. Let me show you right there. So I used a punch wherever it's at, right there, to punch it out. That's factory. When somebody has a bolt in there, it's more than likely been touched before. But these 15mm bolts out, and then we'll be able to slide the drive shaft all the way out. So we got the drive shaft out. It was kind of a pain because I couldn't split this from this at the time because this thing has an O-ring in it, so it was very hard because it was like stuck over here, stuck forward. So it was very hard to split, but we snaked it out. We had to push it all the way that way, then go through the center, put the front down first in the center, and then kind of like snake it through like that. So we got that out. We'll be working on the U-joint here in a second, but first we're probably gonna tackle the timing tensioner. So I bought this Alba Racing timing tensioner. It's like a manual, I guess you could say, timing tensioner instead of the old driven one that's in this thing. We went and bought that here a little bit ago from a place called ATV Zone out here in like South Louisiana area, if you know what that is. Then well, if you're from around here, you know what that is. So went there, got this, picked this thing up for like 180 bucks. I was gonna get another factory one because these things last like 200 hours, but I know I'm gonna be running this thing hard, and I really didn't want to chance it. So this thing should be good for a while. It's like I said, it's like a manual one. It's not manual, but like it is automatic. But like it has like little grooves where it locks. Every time it goes up and stretches, it locks in, so it can't get pushed back out. And then there's this little tool right here that keeps it like collapsed. So you could set it and put it back in, take it out, whatever you need to do. And of course it comes with a cool little sticker that we're gonna throw on there too, somewhere on the bike, not sure, but we're gonna get that taken care of. So what we're doing, I'm gonna try to cheat my way out of it, and I got all the valves closed right now, and so it shouldn't spring or anything like that. I got this jammed in here, so this kind of, I know this ain't really doing much, but I'm gonna try to get something else to probably keep that chain tight and make sure it doesn't jump or anything, so I can just snake that other timing tensioner out and put the new one in. Got the timing tensioner installed right there. Might have to put something on this hose so it don't rub, but I'm gonna leave a link in the description of the same exact one I got online for y'all if y'all want to go, buy it. If you have a RZR and need it, there you go. Here's the old one. Now this thing is pretty like basic. It's just oil driven because it's oil coming out, but they always fail. Every single one of these things with over like 200 hours, 300 hours, you hear them fail on it pretty often. So just get the upgrade, spend the money. Don't do it twice, do it once. Good thing is we didn't have any trouble like I thought we might have, but we'll get this thing back together. Then we're gonna be working on these U-joints next. I got the U-joints replaced. I used some eBay ones, but here's the part number UJ121. I'll leave a link in the description also. We went ahead and replaced all 3 of them, and we didn't replace the hanger bearing. It seems like it's still good. It's a little wore out, but not much. But yeah, U-joints are in. Now these are actually harder than a freaking vehicle U-joint, I swear. But we got done, got out the way. We're gonna slap her back in so we can go and rip this beauty. All right, guys, so as you can see from the dirt, yesterday we took her out and test drove her, and for about 5 hours she did all right, minus a little overheating, which was, I don't really know what it was caused from. I'm assuming the fan is kind of weak and it's straining because the relay was getting really hot. The fan would work on and off. I'd switch relays, it'd work fine, and then do it again, and then keep doing that, but the relay would never like go out. So I'm thinking the fan was straining the relay, and it was overheating the relay, getting it hot, because the fan's not really working properly. I don't know. Ordered a new aluminum radiator, and I ordered a new fan and a new thermostat just in case. It might have been something to do with that, just to kind of get the whole cooling system fixed, because this thing had freaking, the front diff was bad, like muddy. There was no oil in there. The transmission had all kind of like metal shavings, and like it was gray / white oil. This thing wasn't really neglected. Now I've got a lot of bikes that needed work, and this one's intact, but like a lot of odd and end stuff has just been failing. So along with that story, we took it out. We was having fun. It runs good. It has still a little valve chatter. I'm not really sure why. It could be because of the valves, maybe. I thought it was because of oil. And I changed the oil filter, put new oil in it, and it quieted up a lot, but still a weird chatter. I might be tripping, but I don't really think I am. And she did good. I got a couple clips I'll drop. But yeah, it left me in the woods. So I'll drop that clip as well. It's gonna probably be at the end, the last clip. But yeah, it left me in the woods. Long story short, the fuel pump was pretty much getting weak and going out. So in the middle of the woods, it just started spitting, sputtering, and it killed. It wouldn't want to run. And then I finally got it able to run where I was pedaling the throttle on and off, and it was, I guess it was making a fuel mixture like enough where it'll run. Well, it got us all the way back to the truck, thankfully, because we was out there by ourselves, me and a cousin, and we didn't have anybody to pull us back, and it was like dead. We took it to Tower Tracks in Greensburg, Louisiana, and yeah, it was like dead. It didn't have nobody. It was freaking dusty, like you can see right there. Brother had a picture of me too. Oh, it was bad. Like I was covered in dust from head to toe, everywhere. So I'm gonna have more content coming out with this thing probably next video. I ordered all the parts for it: the front diff rebuild, the fuel pump. I ordered the radiator, some seals, just a lot of odd and end stuff for it. So I'll have more content dropping with this thing, and we should be going out the ride next weekend if I can. I might take the GoPro and do a little more filming with it, but I need to do a lot of suspension adjustments to this thing because the suspension is kind of like doo-doo on it. So, but please like, subscribe if you enjoy this. I'm gonna have more ride-along videos here soon, and I figure out exactly how I want to do them. I'm not really sure how I want to put them out yet, so it's kind of like I'm playing around with the idea right now. So enjoy the clips, like, subscribe, and I'll see you out in the next one.